Hi, I'm Julie Tattam from Skincognito Body Painting on behalf of the Global Colours YouTube channel. This channel is full of everything face and body art, from step-by-step tutorials to product reviews, special effects makeup and much more. But best of all, I get the opportunity to show you the beautiful Global Colours product range in action. So make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of this amazing free training. This week is the first episode in our beginners series, so let's get started.
The best way to start to learn face painting is not to jump straight into painting designs. It's actually in honing your technique on a couple of very basic brush strokes. These include things like teardrops, swirls, double loading, drag blending, and we're going to cover all of those in the upcoming episodes. For these lessons, I'm using Global Colours Body Paint in Strong Black and a number 4 Global Colours round brush. Round brushes are a staple for face painting, so I always recommend students get a number 2, 4 and 6. Now, in naming the parts of the brush, we have the tip, the ferrule, the handle and the scoop. Just keep those in your mind because you'll hear those a fair bit throughout the lesson. So now though, let's look more at the paint. Professional quality body paint comes in a dry form and is activated with a wet brush. Gently wipe your brush across the paint, left to right, never pushing down hard into the paint as you'll ruin the end of your paintbrush like this. A fine line in face painting is all attributable to a very fine point on your brush, so just make sure to really look after that point. Now, I never use black and white face paint straight from the pot. I always decant a small amount of it using the scoop at the end of my brush and deposit it into the lid or another small jar. The reason I do this is so that I can control the consistency of my paint. I never pick paint up from the mountain, only from the flat surface of the lid. So in preparation for painting, I pull a small amount of paint down from the mountain onto the valley. The mountain therefore stays dry and I control my paint consistency and the shape of my brush by only grabbing paint from the valley. So what is the ideal paint consistency? The perfect wetness of paint should look like you've broken open a ballpoint pen, really inky. Too much water and the paint will become completely unusable and runny. And also the brush will not form a nice stiff point, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. If the brush is too dry, you haven't added enough water, you'll find that the paintbrush tends to pull as you're pulling it through the paint. You can quite easily tell that and you won't get a good stroke with this. So again, here is the ideal paint consistency. Just a little bit of water and a really inky paint, which allows the brush to form a nice boat oar. So what do I mean by the term boat oar? Have a look at my brush here after I've loaded it correctly. It has a thick and a thin side, just like the oar of a boat. So loading it correctly, pulling the brush towards me only on the valley and the perfect consistency of paint, and have a look at the end of the brush. Thick side, thin side. Just like the oar of a boat, when you rotate it through 90 degrees, you get a thick side and a thin side. This is important for face painting because you want to approach the skin with the brush held at the right angle. If you want a thin line, you need to approach the skin on the thin side of the brush. Have a look how much my thumb needs to rotate to turn the brush end that 90 degrees. Thick side, thin side, thick side, thin side. This seems simple, but I can't stress enough how important it is to master this. You can't control your stroke unless you can first control the shape of your brush. Another important rule is to always hold the brush at 90 degrees to the skin. Don't hold it like you would a pencil at an angle to the skin. It's really important that the pressure is exerted straight downwards into the skin. The next tip I'd offer is to use what we call the anchor finger. This is simply just using the pinky to balance against the skin. It gives you a sense of depth of how far away from the skin you need to be, and it gives you something to lean on without smudging your work. When I paint without an anchor finger, I do sometimes find it harder to adjust my pressure, whereas when I place that finger down and take the weight of my hand, I can create a much finer stroke. This is because it allows me to control my pressure. And pressure is one of the most important elements. It's the last one we'll cover today. You can see how using the same number 4 round brush, I can create varying thicknesses of lines simply by pressing softer or harder on the brush. And this is the crux of how we create our next stroke, the teardrop. Join us in our next episode to look at teardrops, swirls and tiger stripes and how you can master pressure variation to create the perfect stroke.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this tutorial and we hope you got a lot out of it. Don't forget, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up so that we get to learn what you like. If you have any questions or comments, don't forget to write them in the comments box below and we will address those in a special episode coming up. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. Thanks again for watching and we'll see you next time. See you!